Hello and welcome to Talking Music, where every song has a story. My name's Paul. On this channel, we like to get behind the music, as it were, and tell the story of the song. And today's featured song is this one, You're the One That I Want, John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John. This was a massive worldwide hit, and still to this day one of the best sellers worldwide of all time. And the song featured towards the end of the film Grease, which in itself was a huge blockbuster. A movie released in the summertime of 1978. The song was really the finale to the film. You might think that the success of the movie was the fuel that powered this particular song, but not so. What is impressive about the song was that it made #1 on the American Billboard Hot 100 1 week before the film was released in June of 1978, making the song a hit in its own merit, and actually providing great anticipation for the film. In Grease, and I'm sure you've seen the film, I think everyone in the known world has seen the film, the two main characters are Danny, who was played by John Travolta. Danny was a cocky leader of the gang type, who had fallen for Sandy, played by Olivia Newton-John, who was your typical girl next door and completely innocent and naive. So naive, in fact, she thought Danny was the typical boy next door. It's a kind of girl falls for bad boy story. But sure enough, his behaviour around her was modest and demure, but behind her back, he was bragging to his mates. And that is really the lyrical essence of their other big hit, Summer Nights. Sandy singing to her mates how wonderfully romantic he was on their date, and Danny bragging to his mates about things that they didn't actually do, things that didn't actually happen. With You're the One That I Want, the male and female lyrics are pretty bold and obvious in their meaning. They're very simple as well. They're straightforward rather than simple. They're both out to get each other. Sandy has dressed in leather, thinking that Danny wants her that way, and initially he's shocked, but by the end of the song, she knows she definitely has him hooked, and he has to shape up if he's going to win her. The song was written and produced by John Farrar. He'd produced a number of her previous hits, and it was he that persuaded her to appear in the film. In fact, the two main actors in Grease were an interesting pair to cast. Olivia Newton-John was a global star at that time. She'd had many hits worldwide, but she'd had no acting experience. She was 29, and she was uneasy about portraying a teenager in the film. John Travolta, on the other hand, was a big rising star in the movie game. Just a year before, he'd starred in Saturday Night Fever, and he was an actor who'd also done some singing as well. He'd had an American top 10 hit with a song called Let Her In 1976.
I really wanted Olivia in the film. I said, because I'd done the show on Broadway and on the road, and I said the perfect Sandy of the world would be Olivia Newton-John. And I said, and Olivia wasn't sure whether she wanted to do it, so she had a reverse contract situation where she had to see herself on screen before she said yes.
I said, I have to do a screen test, and if I don't like it, I don't have to do the movie, do I? So.
When it came to the video, well, the video for the song came straight out of the film. And remember, it was a time when videos were in their infancy, and most were very rudimental, very simple in their form. The video for this, though, and Summer Nights, cut straight from the movie, had great standouts among music videos at that time. And as we now know, a good video can increase record sales dramatically, and You're the One That I Want sold in vast amounts for a considerable period of time through the summer of 1978. And of course, people were seeing and hearing the song on the television and seeing the video for the movie. The film hadn't been released yet, but the video cut straight from the movie gave a glimpse into what the movie was all about, and of course added further to the anticipation of the film being released. Let's have a look at the charts. Big seller, as I've already told you. The US Billboard chart, 10th of June 1978, and there it was, its first and only week at #1. After that big build-up, it was only #1 for 1 week, but it took 11 weeks to get there. Just the 1 week at #1 because Andy Gibb was about to pounce with Shadow Dancing in what would be the year's bestseller in the States. But 24 weeks altogether on the Hot 100, so that's tantamount to almost half a year. And it turned platinum, 2 million record sales in the US for 1978 for You're the One That I Want. There were some big sellers that year stateside because the song only finished 13th bestseller in the year-end chart for 1978. In fact, Grease, Frankie Valli's song from the movie, sold slightly more in America than You're the One That I Want, but You're the One That I Want caught up elsewhere around the world to make it the biggest song from the film. It sold an awful lot of records in the UK, 9 weeks at number 1, selling 2 million records. Only Boney M sold more that year with Rivers of Babylon, around 2.2 million. So Olivia and John became the second bestseller of the year in the UK. Summer Nights was the third bestseller. And they were the only two songs that these two recorded together. They certainly had a terrific track record whilst they were together, didn't they? Grease was the second best-selling album in 1978 in the UK, behind Saturday Night Fever. There is not, when you think of all the single releases in the UK, there's not an awful lot of songs that actually sell 1 million copies. They are few and far between. And to ask a song to tip the balance of over 2 million, then they really do become very few and very far between. But there we had in 1978 two songs that did that: Rivers of Babylon, Boney M, and Olivia Newton-John and John Travolta, and You're the One That I Want.
I had to talk her into doing the end number, you know.
Yeah, you did.
You had to talk. You had what?
Yes, talk her into doing the one that I want. You're the one that I want.
Which became a big hit
Yeah, well,
on records.
well, that's the big turn for her character in the movie.
Yeah.
And I said, believe me, it'll be fantastic. I said, you get into that black get-up and you're real sexy and everything. The audience will love it.
I was terrified, wasn't I?
Olivia was terrible. She said, you sure I'm doing the right thing and all that kind of thing? I said, I know you're doing the right thing.
I did the right thing.
So it was a sensational year for John and Olivia. It was the only year really they were together, 1978. Grease helped Olivia Newton-John become the most successful female singer of the 1970s worldwide. Her music success continued through till 1982. She didn't have the longevity of, say, a Madonna or a Mariah or a Celine, but when she shone, she did it brilliantly. John Travolta's career, of course, veered back towards acting, and as a rising talent at the time, he became a big A-lister.
This is really a funny story. I love this story, and forgive me if I've told you it before.
No, tell
But
me.
many years ago, when John and I first got married, John Travolta wanted to meet my John. So he invited us for dinner at his house, and he has a house where he has a runway outside. And I remember when we were working together making Grease, he told me his vision that one day he would have a house and a runway and a plane outside. So he's created his vision. I've created my vision. So he invited us for dinner. We went there, and after, as we're having dinner, John Travolta asks my husband, had he seen Grease? And my husband, who had never seen it, said no, he hadn't seen it.
Oh my God.
And John Travolta said, seriously? Where were you? Up the river on the Amazon or something? So we finished dinner, and then he said, we're going to have dessert on the plane. And my husband's a pilot, so he was excited because he loves planes. He has a passion for them too.
Yeah.
So he took us on the plane, and they had dessert laid out, and he had Grease playing on the television.
Wow.
So he got to watch it with the both of us on John's plane, and he said,
How amazing.
yeah, he said, this is a really good movie. I can see why people like it.
You're the One That I Want went on to also top the charts in Australia, Belgium, Finland, Ireland, the Netherlands, New Zealand, Norway, Switzerland, Sweden and West Germany. And in whichever country it was released, it either peaked at number 1, number 2 or number 3. That's an amazing record. It has sold about 13 million copies worldwide, putting it in at number 13 in the world's all-time best-selling singles list. There were lots of copycat versions when the song came out and through the intervening years. I think possibly the most notable being the two British comedy actors, Arthur Mullard and Hilda Baker, who reached number 22 in the UK charts. It was a terrible rendition, but it was always going to be terrible with those two. But they were pretty quick off the mark, as their song was in the chart at the same time as the original. This song had everything going for it. The singers, the video, let's not forget the film, plus, of course, the song itself. It was full of energy, And if you were following the film, you just wanted these two characters to get it together and live happily ever after. The synergy between them really sold the song. And I'm sure there are many around the world who fell in love with the movie Grease and would have liked to have seen them get it together in real life too.
Are you good friends?
Yeah, very good friends.
When did you become good friends? And how good? Do you oh, you don't want to know? Then don't give me oh. If you don't want to know, we'll talk about the movie. Now.
All right, I'll tell you.
Yes, tell us.
We became good friends during the making of Grease because both of us, it was a new experience for me to do a film, and John was incredibly helpful to me during the making of the film, and he'd been going through some personal problems and so had I, so we became friends.
Because it's very hard with two people, when two people are so attractive, you two are very good looking, and you're both each other's type, to be thrown together so much. Seriously, do you ever find, like, if not necessarily the two of you...
If you didn't know this, we are welded at the hand.
But did you ever, like, have romantic thoughts about Olivia? A little bit?
Yes.
Yeah, did you?
Sure.
And what happened?
No, in all honesty... In all honesty,
Yeah, seriously.
of course it's none of your business what actually happened.
Nor would I want to pry.
No, I know that.
But what happened?
I had admired Olivia and vice versa before we ever met.
Yeah.
And I highly recommended her for the co-starring part in Grease because I had a bit of a crush on her. But, you know, like as history has itself, we were both involved with different people, so...
It just never...
That's why.
Never happened.
That's John Travolta and Olivia Newton-John, and you're the one that I want. And that's it for another Talking Music video. Thanks so much for watching. We have many more videos for you to watch. If you'd like to subscribe, just click on the subscription button below. And then hopefully I'll catch you in another video. So till then, I wish you well. Bye-bye.